So we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of DMi Show. And here is your host, Abib, and our guest for today is Ruth. And for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, so here is DMi Show. So it's a show for marketers, small business owners, professionals who want to harness the power of digital marketing, you know, to grow their business. And today, live on the stage, we have for Roots. Thank you for joining us today, Roots. So today we'll be looking at algorithm updates, uh, how to recover from ranking drops and penalties. So we could actually, if some of you have been following trends as regard Google and SEO trends. Starting from August 22, we've been having a lot of you know Google roll out their core updates, so which actually ended as September 17. September 7. So that's like 16 days or so. And just yesterday, we have another update. So it's kind of very tough these days, for business owners. So we have helpful content update, which is currently, on the loop. Everybody is on the lookout to see what's coming and what's going to change, because some people have already been hit by the first core updates, by the core updates. So today, that's why we actually bring to you one of the experts in the field. I've been following root work pretty much for a very long time. And guys, I have to confess, Ruth is doing, is putting a lot of premium content out there on his website. Please, if you haven't been on his website, I'll urge you to go and check out some content there. It's a arsenal of content, right? Up there. And our website is samlive.com. Samlive.com. So please, if you have not, maybe you are not lucky enough to come across Ruth's content, I will, urge you to actually check it out. So quickly, Ruth, please could you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, guys. I've been waiting for that moment. My name is Ruth Adeyemi, and like Habib rightly mentioned, my business is Storm Life, and Storm Life is an SEO agency. We pride ourselves in helping upcoming entrepreneurs, upcoming digital experts become more familiar with the digital space, but most importantly, helping business owners and entrepreneurs get on the first page of Google. Well, I guess we can say first page because it's now pageless, but we can still say first page. So to get on the top page on Google so that they can have a business that people are aware of, equally also make money from their business. But for the most part, I work as an SEO specialist, SEO consultant, manager, anything SEO, right? That's what I do. And I've been doing this since 2020. Okay, so it's been about 3 years now. It's been exciting. And today we're going to be having conversations around the algorithm updates and what you can do to make sure that you're not heavily impacted.
Right. Thank you so much for such a brilliant introduction. So, Ruth, let's get into business of today. Please, uh, you know, for people that are just not been following trends and all of that, could you shed more light into, what's all these algorithm updates and why is it matter to website owner? Pretty
Absolutely.
much.
Yes. So I try to make things as simple as possible. And just to simplify it, before I get into the technicalities of things, look at your phone, for example. Okay. So for your phone, you have apps on your phone. And if the app is not updated, right, the app on your phone may not function well, which may also affect your phone, the functioning of your phone. Okay. So I want you guys to see like website updates and algorithm updates just like that. So it's the way that Google updates how it ranks content. Okay, updating like the factors that it uses to rank content so that whenever you and I were searching for a query or you're searching for a keyword, and these are technical terms, but in simple terms, whenever you're searching for something online, right, these are the factors that Google that these are the factors you'll be using to make sure that your content ranks, right, on Google. Now, the reason why you have updates and core updates, just like Abib mentioned, and now helpful content updates. So the reason why you have updates every now and then is because number one, you have people that are doing fishy stuff, and I'm going to make this conversation as again simple as possible so we don't complicate things. So you have people doing fishy stuff, and when I say fishy stuff, sometimes you could have like a website with lots of spammy links, okay? Or you have people that they're stuffing their content with keywords, but then they're not producing like quality, meaningful content. So Google would decide, they could decide, okay, so the update that we want to push out now is to stop those people that are putting out spammy content and they have like spammy links on their website. This update is geared towards shutting those kind of website down or reducing their ranking, right? So that's an example. Another example of an update could be Google saying, well, now that we're seeing a lot of AI generated content out there, so what if we put out an update, right, that would start to detect content that is written for the people and content that doesn't sound robotic. So they put together like it's an automated system that crawls websites across the globe to figure out, okay, what websites are actually producing quality content that our searchers can actually benefit from. So by rolling out these updates, it helps to reduce, following that example, it helps to reduce having websites that don't have quality content on top, but you now have websites that produce quality content, which is what Google is looking for on top. Okay. Or for the first example, now whenever somebody is searching for whatever question, right, they're no longer getting website that has lot of spammy links in them. Okay, so just to break it down, but in simple terms, it's pretty much Google figuring out the best way possible to make sure that whenever somebody is searching for content online, they're producing and they're serving them with the best kind of content. So all these updates and all the core updates, the helpful content, and all the other updates that go out every now and then is to make sure that when you search for something and on that first page of Google, you're always getting served quality content that will address the questions that you're asking Google. That's the main point of it.
Great. Thank you so much for such smart and very simple, explanation as you rightly said. Ruth, could you share more light to, you know, sometimes people that are not into SEO, they get, even some people that are into SEO, they get confused sometimes with these three terms. We have core updates, we have help content have and review updates. Please, could you shed more light to that? What they mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to start with core updates, okay? And pretty much core updates, it's more like the technical kind of updates. And pretty much what is looking at is looking at, for example, your web speed, okay? How fast is this website loading whenever somebody is searching for it? So once again, we're looking at the technical side of things. And another thing that this update addresses is how stable is your website whenever someone is searching your website. So we're addressing the technical side of your website, your speed, the stability of of your page, the security of your website. And one thing for those that don't know much about SEO, when Google is rolling out core updates, it's not really to affect like a particular page on your website, but rather to overall impact the quality of the website as a whole, right? So, and that's why it's looking at how well the speed is doing, and then also looking at like the mobile optimization, looking at the laptop optimization, or even if you have like iPad optimization, but checking the optimization of your website as a whole, checking the speed, what is contributing to your website not loading quickly, right? Is it that you're having images that are copyrighted? Okay, that could be one of the things that these core web updates are trying to target and trying to reduce those kind of things from happening. But whenever you hear whenever you hear that Google is rolling out a core web update, so things that you can start looking before that goes out is number one, is my website speed great? Okay, and you can use like tools like GT metrics to make sure that your website speed is good to go. And whatsoever issues that you have with the website speed, you can start to fix it before the update even comes out. Okay. So to make sure that you're saving yourself from the impact or the hits that you may get. All right. And another thing, again, visual stability. And I say this because there's a website that I'm working on currently, and it takes like a few seconds for the website to load. So, number one, the speed is not even great. And then when you get on the website, like pop ups, and these are things that affect stability. Okay. Pop ups, like the pop ups that come and show up on your website. So, let's say you have a pop up on the website, and the pop up pretty much covers the entire website, and it's hard to click on other content on the website, or it's hard to navigate off of that pop-up. That could also affect your website negatively. And these are all the things that go into core web updates. Okay. And then other things that I've mentioned earlier. Now, when it comes to helpful content update, this is, I think, my favorite part because I'm a content SEO expert. And one thing that I focus heavily on when I'm working on a website is the content. So the helpful content updates is as simple as it sounds, is how helpful is the content that you have on your website. Okay. So if you're saying that you want to write a blog post on content SEO or blog writing, for example, right? Are you actually addressing all the possible questions that someone searching could potentially have for that content? If I go to your about page, right? Will Google see enough content that helps Google to know who you really are, what you do, who you serve? Okay. So whenever Google is rolling out the helpful content updates, the main goal of that update is to say, okay, we want to make sure that whatever websites that we are indexing, and maybe I need to start explaining the terms that I'm using as well because okay, let's
Really?
let's backtrack a little bit. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Right.
So the Google algorithm process, right? The first three things that we need to have in mind terms wise is crawling, right? Indexing and serving. Let's even start from there before we talk about the updates.
Right.
So when you have a website, right? And you already submitted your website to Google, you submitted your website sitemap to Google using Google Search Console, right? To let Google know that yes, there's a website here and this is what we do. Cool. Now, what Google will do, which is an automated process, okay, so it's not like one person is actually going and actually doing this thing manually, but it's an automated process whereby Google will go through your entire website using Google bots or Google spiders, right? And it goes through the entire website to crawl your content. And by crawling, it's pretty much figuring out what is this website about, right? For example, the DMi digital marketing agency. So with the website, Google is trying to figure out, okay, so are they really talking about digital marketing? Are they really talking about blogging, copywriting? What exactly is this website about? So that's the crawling process. Okay. Then when these bots are done crawling the website and figuring out what the website is all about using the automated system that Google has set up. Then from there, they index the different pages on the website. And by indexing, in simple terms, it's pretty much compiling this page or this website with other similar websites. For example, so now that the DMi Digital Agency website is live on Google, so Google is now going to take, after crawling the website, the DMi website, after crawling that, it now indexes it, compiles it with other digital marketing agency websites, right? That Google already has in its system. Okay, so crawling, indexing, in simple terms, compiling. And then once it's done indexing and compiling, right? And as you're putting out blog posts, as you're putting out whatever content, new pages on your website, Google is following this process, crawling and indexing. Okay. And then once it's indexed, then whenever Abib or Ruth, whenever we're searching for, let's say, digital marketing updates in 2023, and let's say that's a recent blog post that was released on the DMI website. Okay. Now, and Ruth is searching for that. So Google will go through all the website that it has indexed over the months, okay, or over the years, whatever the case may be, and present them to me, starting by presenting the best, okay, following Google's ranking factors. All right. Okay. So, and that's what I mean by crawling, indexing, and serving. Okay. So now the fact that you have a website or you published a blog post does not mean that your website will be crawled and indexed. You still have to make sure, sometimes manually we have to submit like the URL to Google Search Console to make sure that these pages are indexed, or to even trick the process and to make the process go faster. Okay. So these are things that we do. All right. So when I'm talking about the helpful content updates, it's pretty much Google asking for using the AI craze that we're going through right now. So the helpful content updates could serve as, now that we have a lot of AI generated content, what can we do to make sure that whatever content that we're going to be serving, so now you understand what serving means. So whatever content that we're going to be serving a user searching for a particular content, we want to provide them with the most helpful, the most beneficial, that is answering all their questions as much as possible, and also putting search intent in mind. Okay. So now when this update is out, let's say person A's blog, right? Doesn't It's not really, the blog post is not, it does not have search intent in mind, right? And the blog posts, they're just there, there's no depth to it. That's person A. Then you have person B, where they have their content, so much thought into it, very detailed, right? Not really AI generated content. You can tell that it's conversational, it's addressing the need of the audience. So when this update comes out, you know,
Like your content.
that's when you start to see, oh, some people are really happy when these kind of updates are out because it's helping them. And then you have the people that are like so sad, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Okay, because it's negatively impacting. So, and I think I'm going off my track, but anyway, so the whole idea of this content is to stabilize and make sure that everything that Google is serving us as people using Google or as Google users, it's the best, it's quality content. Okay. And then just, I wouldn't say penalizing, but for the lack of a better word, penalizing the people that are not following Google's ranking factors or trying to trick the system.
Right. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
doing justice to that. Quickly, I want to ask, I mean, for the website owners, I mean, how
Yes.
could they identify if their website is affected, you know, or if their website is being affected by the current,
Yes.
the last updated core updates? I mean,
Yes.
how could they identify if their website is affected at all?
I know that is a fantastic question. And honestly, if you have a website, I hope that you're already following this process. But if not, that's fine because we'll have that conversation right now. Now, typically, if you have a website, then one of the number one things that you want to do is to track how well you're doing. That's the, is the beauty and the joy of every website owner to see that they have like increased website traffic every now and then. Okay. That's our goal. We want to keep increasing your web traffic. And to be able to see the trend, you need an analytics tool. That is standard, right? Even on social media, we use analytics tool. Okay. So for your website, right? Before we even get to how to figure that out, at this point, if you don't have it, you should create an account with Google Analytics and have a Google Search Console account. Those two. Okay. So, because with those two tools, you're able to see how well your content, how well they're performing and things that you can even do before any update comes out to make sure that you're staying on top, figuring out what page is doing very well, what are people searching for, what keywords are they putting in Google for your content to come up. So you already have these kind of things in mind, okay? Because you're using your Google Analytics tool, you're using your Google Search Console. All right, we're good. We got it. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm a teacher at heart. All right. So now that that is out of the way, whenever Google rolls out these updates, like the core updates, for example, which will most likely affect the technical side of your website, okay, not majorly the content, but the technical. Or if the helpful content comes out and you're like, oh my gosh, my ranking is dropping. That's from me, sorry. So you're trying to figure out what happened. So the way that you get to know what I use, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys, is Google Analytics and Google Search Console. Yeah, what I just talked about. Those two tools, that's what I use. So I look at my Google Analytics, specifically my Google Search Console, because Google Search Console breaks it down for me and it will break it down for you as well. And typically, what I mean, the creating an account of it is easy, so I'm sure you can figure those out. So by going to Google Search Console, right, you can check the content, and you should even be doing this like every 3 months. That's what I recommend, optimizing your content and figuring out what is working, what's not working. But assuming you've not been doing that, that's fine. You start today, hopefully. So using Google Search Console, you can see it will tell you, give you an analysis of what content is doing well, what content, because and that's why it's so important for you to track, because if you've been tracking, then it's easier for you to spot, oh, this one was actually like page or position, because Google's Search Console will tell you the position. So the position of this blog post was actually 5 before the update, but now it's 25, right? You can tell that that blog post was highly impacted by the update, right? Or even let's leave like blog posts out of it, because that would be more of the helpful content updates kind of affecting. Let's look at the core uh, updates, okay? So let's say you look at a page, a whole page, or it could be like your shop page, and you realize that the position of a particular product was position 10 before, but after the core updates that just rolled out, that page is now position 50. Okay, so you're asking yourself, oh my gosh, do I have a lot of images on that page? Is that why? Was that why that was affected? Because remember, when it comes to core updates, you're thinking of things like optimization, the optimization of your website. You're looking at speed. You're looking at the stability of the website as a whole. So you're asking yourself these kind of questions: do I have a lot of images on that page that is affecting the site speed? Right? Or is it that I have so many pop-ups that is affecting the ability of the page to be, not even ability, but like the optimization of the page? So is that affecting the SEO of the page, right? So these are questions that you need to start asking yourself to figure out what really is the problem. Now, if you've not been tracking, you may not be able to get like good results from the analysis that you're doing, because you can't compare. And that's the only reason I said that you can't compare. But but hopefully if you've been comparing, this is how you can figure it out. So you can start to tell, all right, what page did the position of this page change, or this particular web page or this particular blog post, did the number of page views, did it go down? And Google Analytics will tell you that, specifically Google Search Console. It will give you a proper big breakdown per page, per blog post, okay? And that helps you to figure out what page was impacted. Are there things that I need to do or not? Now, going back to the core updates, there are times that there's not really nothing you're doing wrong. Okay, it just you got impacted, and sometimes it may even take like a few months for you to come back up again and stabilize the growth of your website. So sometimes, and I'm being specific now for core updates, sometimes you did nothing wrong, you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. It's just the way the updates rolled out, and sooner or later you balance up again and you'll be fine again. So I'm saying that to let you know that core updates specifically, hopefully you shouldn't be too scared about the aftermath, because sometimes there's nothing else that you can do. You've been doing everything right, but you're still impacted. Okay. But using Google Analytics, using Google Search Console, you're able to figure out, okay, what happened and what can we do better.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that tip, so Ruth. So, Ruth, I want to ask, yeah, tracking is very, very important. If you don't track, how do you want to know what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong? So, I don't think there is another way than to track. So, when you were speaking, you spoke about uh, understanding, where your page or let's say a blog or any page of your website is, maybe the position you have on Google, and you
Yes.
mentioned about positions on position, all of that. So
Mhm.
is it like, could you go to technicality? Is there some place in Google Console that would show us, or how could you check in general to know, okay, this my the previous of this my page is in position one, this my page is in position two. Could you
I
shed more light to
was.
that?
I wish I
Thank
could
you.
share my screen. Is that a possibility? I think so.
Sure, you can.
I can. Okay. All right. Cool.
Sure.
Because it will be
Yeah.
easier for you guys to see it than me saying it, right? Because typically, once you go on Google Search Console, right, and you put a URL, it will tell you the position. So it's not hard to figure out. But let me see if I can show you just so you can see it. All right. Now, are there other questions that you want me to answer while I'm trying to figure this out?
Sure. I want you to share more light to, what are the, I know there are major reasons why, website get drops and they got penalized, for some many things. Could you shed more light to, two or three core reasons why website got penalized,
Okay.
on ranking? Yeah.
All right. I may not be able to answer that question because my I'm focused on other things. I'm trying to bring this page up.
Right, sure, sure. Take your time.
Yes. Well, guys, wait for me. I will be with you shortly. But I just want to show you guys so it's easier for you to make sense of what we're talking about. This will be easier to show you. Okay. And with the new Google Analytics, things are all over the place. But give me a second.
You should see presents. You should see
Yeah, not
presents.
yet. I'm trying to. I may just show screenshot because it's not coming up. So I think I have some screenshots that I can show you guys on what that looks like. But mm, yeah, that's it. Okay. Yes, I have some screenshots that I can show. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Yes. So present. Oh, share screen. Let me see. There we go. Share. Can you see this?
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
Oh wow. I'm sharing screen. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Oh, right here.
Right.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Do you see it now?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
That,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is from Google Analytics. Okay. Yeah, I can't seem to figure it out right now. It's like anyway, but this is a result from putting a website on Google Analytics and trying to figure out the position, the total clicks, the total impression, the click through rates of the entire website now, of the homepage of the website. Okay. So, and you can see here, using the analytics tool, you can figure out the number of total clicks. And what I was even trying to figure out when I was doing this was how has the number of impressions and the average position for this website, how has it improved over time since we took on the project and now that we're here? Okay. And what I saw was when we started with this client, the position was like, I believe, probably 50 something or so. But then closer to last month or 2 months ago, now we're around like 20 something. Okay. So it has gone up, right? Than it was before. So this is what when I was talking about comparison, this is how you can start to make sense of the data that you're getting from Google Analytics and comparing. So as you see on the screen, you can check how many people clicked on your website URL in month one, right? Before the core update or the helpful content update. And now that the update is out, right? Did the number of clicks go down or did it go up, right? Did the number of impressions go up or did it go down? Okay. Did your average position go up or did it go down? So this is what Google Analytics will show you, right? And this is what Google Search Console will show you so you can make sense of what's happening to your website. So I hope that helps.
Brilliant.
All right. I see myself now.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. So you asked me something.
So,
I couldn't answer that because I was trying to for an example. Hold on.
thank you so much for sharing your skin and actually show us, what is, I think it's that is very, very, very helpful. So I'm asking, there are many, reasons why website got penalized. I
Yes.
mean, could you share more like to two or three main
Main.
reasons why? Yeah,
Okay. I'm glad that you said main because there are several, right? There are several
right.
ranking factors. Okay. So we're going to focus on the main ones. And honestly, in my opinion, maybe I may be a little biased because I'm a content SEO expert, but the main the main one of the main ones that I'm going to share is what Google calls the EEAT. So this is a factor that Google uses. It's literally one of the main ones, especially when it comes to your content. And what does that mean? Let's break it down. So the E for expertise, right? And then you have experience, then you have authoritativeness and trustworthiness. Now, what does that even mean when it comes to SEO and making sure that you're doing so well that you're not impacted by these updates? So, what I always say is if you're not an SEO expert or if you're not a digital marketing expert, right, you don't have any business writing blog posts on digital marketing and SEO. Why do I say that? Because Google needs to the recent updates, I think it was 2022 or probably earlier this year. I'm not sure which one because there are so many updates I can't keep track. But one of the updates that Google rolled out, and I believe it was helpful, it was one of the helpful content updates, was they would now rank websites that write their blog posts from a point of experience. So, for example, if I'm trying to rate one of those flower pots that you have at your back, okay, and I'm trying to write a blog post on them, I should have bought one flower pot. I should have my personal experience that I can share. So that content will be authentic and it's coming from somebody that actually knows what they're saying. Okay. So that's what, so when Google added the other E, right, the experience portion, is to is to benefit website owners that write from the place of experience. For example, Abib, he's been doing digital marketing for a while. So whenever he's coming up with blog posts, he's not just writing based on research, because that's also something that we do. We write based on researched content, what we've researched, but also from a place of experience, because speaking the Nigerian language, no be today. Do you understand? It's been a while that he's been working in this industry. So that's the experience portion. Then expertise. How do you show expertise? By consistently putting out helpful content, not just anyhow content, but consistently putting out quality content. Equally, on your about page, because it's not just about the content. On the about page of your website, Google should be, when Google bots are crawling, because now you know what crawling means, they should be able to feel your expertise. So over there, you should be able to say, oh, I've been a digital marketing expert for how many years? Or you're describing your journey such that Google is confident and knows that you know what you're talking about. And if you say you're the expert and you're not really producing content every now and then, I mean, let's check it. Okay. So, because this is how Google knows, right? It's not to say that you're not an expert, right? But the way Google would know is your about page, number one. Equally, how often do you put out good quality content? We talked about experience already, and trustworthiness. And the trustworthiness portion of things, it goes to, I think it's like YMYL, your money, your life kind of thing. It's one of the acronyms that Google puts out. And what that means is, I'm going to use the health field as an example because that's one of the critical fields that you have to be very careful. and build trustworthiness. If you're going to be putting out health content and advising me on health related matters, you better know what you're talking about because somebody's life depends on it. Okay. So when Google is also to avoid the negative impact of these kind of updates, you want to make sure that you're trustworthy. You can talk about the content that you're talking about. If you're in the health field and you're listening to this, being able to show that, oh, you're an expert, you have certificates in this field so that Google can trust your content. And then finally, authoritativeness, the way you speak, making sure that as you're writing in first, like, not, what's the word now? Action. Yeah. You're using action verbs, I can't even figure out active or action, whatever. Yeah, active voice. There you go. So you're writing an active voice and not passive voice because that's how Google can tell it, like, as these crawlers are searching, even though they are Google bots, they've been programmed to figure out the active voice and the passive voice. And that can tell the difference between someone who is an authority figure in the industry and someone who is not. Right. So these are the little things that may not seem like a lot, but it's actually a lot that contributes and protects you from the negative impact of these updates. So making sure that you're putting out quality content, you're showcasing your expertise, you're writing from the place of experience, and you're positioning yourself authoritatively, not being rude, but authoritatively when you're putting out your content. So I would say focus on the WEAT. It really does help you. And I'm assuming that you already have the SEO strategies down because that's the basics of all of it. Okay. So now the second big tip that I will share would be keyword research. Like, you need to know that like the back of your palm because, and now I'm not saying keyword stuffing, but making sure that you can do an effective keyword search and keyword research, and you're able to put out content, you're able to have web pages that are optimized for visibility. Because trust and believe, when we're talking, I talked about user intent and I talked about people searching online. The At the end of the day, it boils down to how well you're able to match the keyword that Abib is searching for and the keyword that are using the content that he's searching for. So if both can match, the keyword that he's searching for and the keyword that I have in my content, if both match easily, your content will show up. And assuming that you already have the quality content and all that good stuff. So now when these updates are rolling out, user intent, you're good. Keyword wise, you're good, right? And you're producing valuable content. So you won't be negatively impacted unless there's something you're absolutely doing terribly wrong. Okay. So making sure that your keyword optimization skills, you have that down. That's one big thing as well that can affect you whenever these updates are out. And another thing that I would also say to make sure that you're staying on top, you're not being affected by these updates, is backlinks. All right, because you told me to limit it, so I'm giving the top ones. Backlinks, okay, okay. Making sure that you're maintaining quality backlinks on your website. And by backlinks, in simple terms, what that means is if Habib has a website, right, and he talks about SEO, right, and he puts my website link, samlife.com, puts it on his website, that's a backlink to my website. Okay. So that's pretty much what that means. And when you put out quality content, right, or you put out unique content, let me say that, or you put out content that are maybe like statistics or reports in your industry, people want to link to those kind of content. And when you're constantly working on your backlinks and making sure that you're getting quality backlinks, it is hard for you to be affected negatively. Or let me say, yeah, it is hard. Equally, you're protecting yourself from being highly impacted by these updates because you're doing a great job of getting quality backlinks from credible websites. Okay. And I'm using his website as an example because we're in similar industries, almost the same industry, really. Okay. So it's a credible backlink in that sense. All right. And it's not just some random websites that talks about cats and dogs. Just saying. So making sure that you're following the WEAT because that's one of the, like, it's consistently Google harps on it. You need to make sure that your content follows that, right? And then your keyword right? Your keyword optimization, staying on top of that and making sure that you're always doing your best when it comes to keyword research, keyword search, keyword optimization, all of that good stuff. And then finally, your backlinks, making sure that you're building like quality backlinks consistently and as much as you can. I think those are three main um, factors that will help you to consistently rank and equally to avoid being highly impacted or negatively impacted by the different updates that get rolled out every now and then.
Cool. Thank you very much for giving, speaking onto the three main, I mean, factors that you have to look into to ensure that your website profile is not being impacted negatively.
Mhm.
So the EAC, keyword research and backlinks. So
Yeah.
before I ask my next question, Ruth, you said something about page. I want you to shed more light on that.
Yes. Give me a second. I don't want my laptop to go off. I'm trying to plug it.
Okay,
I'll be
sure.
right with you. Thank you so much. And what did you ask again, please?
So if you are joining us for the first time, this is a DMI show. So the CSR part of DMI Digital Marketing Agency. This is how we could actually help people out there. So it's a show for marketers and small business owners who want to harness the power of digital marketing to grow their businesses. And if you've not been following us on social media, do well to follow us on LinkedIn, DMI Digital Marketing Agency. Do us to follow us on IG, DMI Agency, and do well to follow us on YouTube as well. So, Ruth, welcome back.
Thank
So
you.
I was asking, when you were shedding more light to the three main factors to ensure that you are not badly penalized. So you mentioned uh, about page, like
Yes,
we should take care of about page. Yeah, could you share more light on that?
absolutely. See, I feel like about pages, they're one of the most neglected pages on a website. And and this is one of the pages that should be constantly updated because it is the most one of the most important pages, if not the most important page on your website. It is how
Hmm.
Google knows what you are about. It is how you can build your level and let Google know your level of expertise, right? It is how even people that are visiting your website can tell that this person knows what they're talking about. Wow, they've been in the industry for this long, so I can trust what they're saying, right? So making sure that you're continuously updating your about page. If for example, this year you said, "Oh, I've been a digital marketing expert for 5 years," and 2 years from now, it's still 5 years. Come on, update that. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is that, which was a mistake that I made before, was my for my about page, I had it as www.samlife.com/blogging coach, SEO coach, da, 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 trying to include my keywords in my URL. Now I learned it the hard way that it is highly, highly important for your about page to have about us. It is so important in the URL. It is so important that you have www.dmi.com/about us. It is highly, highly important because when the crawlers are crawling, it is the about us or about that they're looking for. Okay. To figure out, oh, this is the about page. All right. So this is the page that will get to know who this person is or what this website and this business is all about. So making sure that you're taking the time to really tell us and let Google know what you're about, how long you've been doing this thing, what makes you the best person to talk about what you're talking about, right? And that's how you start to build your profile, start to build your expertise online and even to the audience that are reading your content.
Cool. Uh, Thank you for that. Uh, is it of best practice to actually do something like about? then best digital marketing agency. You say of best of best practice,
For your URL.
right?
So, okay, let me even check mine right now. So what I have for my about page right now is coming. I have sunlife.com/about us, SEO agency, SEO experts. So I still have my
Mhm.
keywords there, but you see that about us is there, is the first that comes up. So it's like at the end of the day, yes, I know what these bots are searching for. So I'm going to give them that. Equally, I'll also include my keywords because I know that that's important for what I'm trying to do.
So it is advisable for us to do something like that.
Yes. So, because you still want to include
Cool.
your keyword, right? Just for easy searchability. Okay. So you still want to include your keywords, but it is highly important that you have the about us. That you can't ignore that.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And it's been, we are almost spending up to 1 hour.
Oh wow.
So quickly, I want us, yeah, I want us to run through, say, with the whole, you know, um, war about core updates and all of that. Say the website has been impacted
Hmm.
and the ranking is dropping. I mean, it's dropping day in, day out.
Hmm.
What are the main things? I mean, just to touch on them for us to do, you know,
Yes.
to get back on track.
Absolutely. I like that question a lot. And honestly, it's simple. What you do is simple. And what I mean by simple is this. It's like when you face any kind of roadblock, right? Or you face any kind of challenge. The first thing is, first of all, relax. It's gonna be fine. And then the now
Oh my God.
what is the problem? What went wrong? And that goes back to the analytics, the data that you've been gathering, and using that to figure out what went wrong. What is the problem, right? Because if you don't know the problem, then you're just going to be running in circles. You don't know what to fix. So, identifying the problem and figuring out what the issue really is using your tools that you have at your beck and call, right? Your Google Analytics, your Google Search Console, or whatever tool that you want to use, because there are many other tools out there. I believe there's a tool that we recently found out at Sam Life, Grumpy or something like that. And so it's like that tool pretty much tells you how Google got grumpier by figuring out what is the latest things that they're, fighting website owners for. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But
Could
you
you
have
mention the tools again? Excuse me?
Grumpy. The name of the tool is
Grumpy
Grumpy,
spell
like GRUM
GR.
GRUMPY.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny name.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like
Right.
GRUMPY. Yes. So that I think no, it doesn't have the Y. It's just Grump. But I
Grump.
the way I remember
Right.
that, yeah, it's because it tells you how Google got grumpier. Like, what is Google fighting again this time? That's pretty much what it tells you.
Hmm.
So you know if you know what Google is trying to fight. For example, currently Google is fighting like AI generated content. It wants content to be
Hmm.
human and connect with us. So you can
Hmm.
know what Google is grumpy about, what is making them mad. And if you know that, if you fall under the category of people that are making them mad, you know that okay, that's probably one of your problems that you need to fix. Okay, so I really like that too for that reason, and I think the name is funny. But going back to the question, the first thing is figuring out the problem. What is actually the problem? Where did you go wrong? If you've done something wrong, because remember, going to core web updates, sometimes you did not do anything wrong. You just things just happens, right? Okay. So figuring out once you know what went wrong, then use your data, the data that you have, analyze the problem. And I say analyze it because right now we're going through a content analysis phase at Some Life where we're going through like our old content. What can we do better? How can we improve it? Okay, what are the recommendations? What do we need to do? Do we need to delete this content? Do we need to update it? Do we need to combine? Right? So once you've identified the problem, now start to analyze. What do you need to do? And how can you solve this problem? Okay. So once you've identified the problem, you've analyzed the problem, now you can now start to find solutions to the problem. And I'm being generalistic because the problem would differ. based on the website owner and the websites. Okay. So, but the approach is the same. You identify the problem, you analyze the data that you have in front of you using analytics tool or Google Search Console, and then you work towards solving the problem and fixing the problem. And then I would even say, try once you know the problem, once you've identified the problem, do consistently make intentional efforts to not repeat what happened again. Because trust and believe these updates will continuously come out. So you want to stay on top of the problem and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And you're consistently improving your content and your content, your website, your page, whatever the case may be. Mhm.
Cool. Thank you very much, um, Ruth, for that.
You're
So,
welcome.
I mean, wrapping up, I want to speak to some of the factors you have already given us. For us to stay up there, for us to prevent our website from being penalized. So you spoke about EET, but from the perspective of the content, right? So is there another perspective to it? Let's say maybe user experience. Is that going to help as well? Taking care of your user experience, the website structure, and all of that.
Yes, so yes, that's what I call the website skeleton, and I love that you brought that up, right? And now, when it comes to user experience, there's a difference between a beautiful website and a fully functioning website. Let's get that straight, okay? Because a website can be beautiful, but it's not fully functioning. So you need to make sure what Abib just said, make sure that you're building a website that is user friendly. Navigation wise, it is easy. The user experience is seamless. And just again, for the sake of simplicity, because I love simplifying things, if you look at the background of Abib's video right now, like you see how the plants they are just strategically placed. It is easy to know where the first plant is and the second plant is. I can see the logo. Everything is easy. I can easily get to where I need to get to the office, navigate around everything. Easy. Okay. That's what we call user experience. When you're putting together your website and you're working on all the SEO, you could do all the SEO in the world. If your user experience is trash, it's going to affect your content. Best believe that. Okay.
Right.
So,
Right.
as people are moving from one page to another, questions that you need to ask yourself: is it easy for them to navigate to back to the home page? That's user experience. That's an example of user experience. Can I easily navigate from page A, right, to the home page? That's key. Okay. All right. Another thing that you also need to look at when it comes to user experience is your choice of color. And these things feel like doesn't seem very technical, very simple, okay? But the choice of color that you're using, if you're combining blue, green, red, it's hard for us to see. That's terrible. The user experience is poor. Even when it comes to your hyperlinks, before my hyperlink was, I believe it was green or so, but then I did my research because user experience. I did my research and I learned that people are more inclined because our brain is conditioned to see when we see blue, we know that that's a hyperlink. We already know. So I had to just change all my hyperlinks to blue, user experience. Another part of user experience is as you're coming up with your blog post, are you breaking down the paragraphs? So it's easier for people to read the content that you have there, user experience. So I think user experience is key. It may not be the most, it may not be even related to like your major SEO strategies, but best believe that it impacts your SEO strategy positively or negatively, depending on how well you do it. And even for the core updates, because that user experience, that's speed. Speed is part of user experience. Website stability is part of user experience. So you see how if your user experience is poor, you're going to be highly impacted by the core updates that come out. That it just happens because your user experience is poor, and that's one of the things that core updates heavily focuses on. So I think it not just considered, but pay a lot more attention to it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that tips, Ruth.
You're welcome.
So I think we're gonna be wrapping up right now, but I want you to shed more light on what is happening right now. what's what we are what we are looking on for this for the next 2 weeks, which is helpful content
Of
updates.
content,
So
yes.
I want to read out some. I want to read out, read out something from Google Search Central, Twitter.
Yes.
So, I mean, people are so fed up these days with all the core update and all of that.
Yeah.
And someone written, as a comment when they posted that so she said Google continue to fail original content creator and publishers while rewarding content thieves. AI plagiarize and bad actors gaming your platform. Look the other way. It's still wrong. So you are not doing enough. It's creating an internal full of garbage. So that's someone, dishing out is stress
Yeah.
because maybe she has been impacted so badly. So
Badly.
yeah, I want you to, you know,
You know,
to shed more light to our audience about, AI content.
yes.
Google actually, helping to rank content that is written by AI with, a little bit of human touch,
Yes.
or are they not? Is it out of it? I mean, what's going to be
Yeah.
your expertise insights to that?
I think I think recent, probably last month, I can't remember when, that I can't even remember the updates clearly, but it was about Google's reaction to AI content. They they have their AI tool to detect the AI content. Facts. So they have that, okay, hands down. Equally, right? I know a colleague of mine that did a study just to figure out how well AI content will do and how well regular content will do. And funny enough, the AI content did well because you had the human touch to it. The traffic was high. Okay. The traffic was high, it got lots of traffic, for that particular content. Now, from Google's perspective, Google does not support like fully AI generated content. I'm laying emphasis on fully AI generated content.
Mm,
You can use AI to aid your writing because Google even has its own AI tool. So it's not as if they don't want you to use it entirely, but you have to make sure that whatever content you're putting out, the human touch has to be there. It still needs to feel like you're having a conversation with a human being and it's not sounding robotic. Now, what I'm going to say to the person that left that comment, right, would be it's frustrating. That's fact. It's frustrating. But let me tell you this, if you prioritize putting out quality content, I always say this, take the pain to write content that addresses every single question that audience could potentially have. And I mean, look, you read our blog post on the Google algorithm, and I think that was our first conversation. Even that, if you look at that blog post,
right.
I know it's lengthy, I know it's a lot, but oh my, it's detailed. When I say detailed, I'm proud of it. It's detailed, and we put out blog posts that within 6 weeks, Google already featured it. So if you have quality content, updates comes and go, they will come and go. You won't be impacted because your energy is on value. You're providing value, detailed content. So what these updates, you won't even be affected. Now, the people that are talking, it may be frustrating because you're publishing blog posts like twice a week. Okay. So in that sense, it may be quantity over quality, DC. And
Mhm.
it can get frustrating, especially when you're publishing every now and then you're getting penalized. So I'd say maybe reduce the emphasis on quantity and focus more on quality. And what we've done is like there was a time that we're only publishing like one content in a month. And that one, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Good content, detailed, well content. So I would say moving forward for the next 2 weeks, not even just for the next 2 weeks, for as long as you're going to be blogging, prioritize value, prioritize quality. And once again, I'm going to go back to my saying, make sure that you're addressing all the questions that somebody may potentially have about this topic. And when you do that, updates will come and go. They always come and go. You'll be protected for the most part.
Cool. Thank you very much for spending your prayer time with us here, Ruth.
You're welcome.
I mean, we, we couldn't thank you enough. So I still have more questions,
You just want to keep
but I don't want to because I mean it's feel like if he's doing this, we should not stop again. Seriously, but I want to thank you, for your
your
time. We might not be able to entertain questions, so for now, but I want to ask you these questions. So to wrap it up, so let's say the website is impacted, and we've implemented all what the tips you've given us and all of that. How can we measure, you know, when we are coming back? How could we measure our attractions? Doing all what you've shared with us, that we are
yes.
impacted, and yeah,
Yeah.
how could we?
Honestly, I think you probably know the answer to that. It's still going back to your data analysis and going back to your tool, right? Now that you use the tool to figure out the problem, you follow the because most of the time these tools will even give you recommendations on what to do. And you follow the recommendations, or you know what to do and you've corrected and made changes, you're still using the tool to now measure the difference. Okay, what happened before the updates? Now that the updates happened, okay, we see the impact. What's happening after? You're still using the same tool, your Google Analytics, your Google Search Console, to figure out how you've uh, improved or you've done better and how your content has improved. So it's still you going back to the same answer. You're using your tool to analyze how well are you now doing now that you've followed all the recommendations and you've made all the changes that you need to make.
So that means that we ended up where we started,
Much,
literally.
pretty much, yes.
Cool. Great having this session with you today, Roots. Could you share to our audience where they could follow your work and
Absolutely.
learn more about SEO?
For the most part, when it comes to building connections, I would say Instagram, right? Official Sarm Life, and that's official and SARMLIFE. Official Sarm Life on Instagram. And you can also go on our website. Just grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever the case may be. Sit back and relax and read away.
Hmm.
Because whatever when it comes to SEO, right? We have enough content to help you. Okay. So samlive.com,
I
go on the
I am a
website.
testament of that. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you
yeah.
so much. Thank you. Really appreciate you. Yeah.
So only on Sam Life and Hygie.
Yeah, go to our website. I mean, LinkedIn. My LinkedIn, I'm just building the LinkedIn for the brand. So I wouldn't say LinkedIn for now. But for the most part, Instagram and the website. Yeah.
Cool. Please do well to follow official Sam Life on Insta, and you know please and also on the website samlife.com.
Mhm. And
That
they can also
that
follow me on
website. Okay, and LinkedIn as well, right? And LinkedIn as well. Most especially that website.
yes,
You got to be there. So
that's
thank
right.
you very much, Sam, for being here today. We do
Yeah.
appreciate your time. Yeah, I would say do have a good day. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a lovely day as well. Bye bye.
So